Hey guys, what's going on? It's Rekt Capital and welcome back to the Rekt Capital channel. Thanks so much for joining me in today's video. And we're going to be talking about the altcoin macro bull market and whether or not alt season is postponed given the price action of Bitcoin. What is the trajectory for altcoins going forward? All of this in today's video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and let's dive right in. So this is altcoin dominance, and this is the predominant metric that I use just to understand the strength in the altcoin market. And many people use Bitcoin dominance. I use altcoin dominance because it just gives me a better idea as to just focusing specifically on how dominant altcoins are in the market. And altcoin dominance is essentially an inverse chart of the Bitcoin dominance chart. But in any case, if we just focus here on altcoin dominance, one of the first things to mention is that we've seen a fantastic rally since the beginning of early 2021, and in fact we bottomed near at the end of December, early January, and we've been in an uptrend ever since. And in fact, in that uptrend we only saw a few weeks of dipping in the altcoin dominance. And remember, this is the weekly time frame, so these dips over here constitute a period of about a few weeks. So just this dipping and then phenomenal upside, pretty much uninterrupted. And now we're only seeing the first substantial dip. It's really important to just set expectations that these are really needed dips in terms of altcoin bull markets. And if you just focus to even the 2017 altcoin bull market, you'll see that we saw even deeper dips during periods of dipping price action, and they were more volatile perhaps compared to what we're seeing over here. And right now it's really important to just focus on the fact that we're now seeing the first lower high here, which is quite interesting to note because in previous cycles we haven't really seen that sort of lower high price action, perhaps in the very beginning of the 2017 cycle. But overall, we are now forming a lower high, and it's really important to just try and compare that to previous cycles. Have we seen lower highs previously? And to just hone in on that question, we have to at the same time just try and understand where we are at the highs. So right now we're at this resistance area forming that lower high, right? And it's really important to just have a higher low print right over here on this recent pullback in the altcoin dominance, because that would give us some sort of pennant like formation implying some further upside. So what I am looking for now is this altcoin dominance consolidation inside some sort of market structure? Too early to say that at the moment, but we are seeing some preliminary signs that we could be consolidating at highs before a next move up. But speaking of a next move up, we have to also understand where we are in the overall cycle, and we're at this very key resistance. And if you look at the 2017 cycle, this is where we rejected quite harshly, and that harsh rejection, could we say that that was about 50% of this entire cycle? Not even 50%, I'd say. Perhaps 40%, 35%. So we saw a drastic correction in altcoin dominance before that final leg up at the end of 2017, before really enjoying that macro euphoria in the market. And arguably we haven't seen macro euphoria when it comes to Bitcoin or altcoins really. It just feels like we are in a mid-cycle period, especially for Bitcoin. But altcoins, as I mentioned in my altcoin investing course, altcoins have their own market cycles, which have a very unique relationship to Bitcoin market cycles. But in any case, we are at this resistance here. This resistance has rejected altcoin dominance in the past into a steep correction, and on that correction, apologies, in 2017, before we made those new highs. Remember here, these are the all-time highs for altcoin dominance relative to these new highs. So after a steep correction, we were able to challenge for new highs, and in an exponential way as well. Pretty much uninterrupted upside to make those new highs. And then not only did we start to see a dip, which was of course much shallower than this dip, we pretty much relief rallied into this resistance. So if we just focus on this resistance area right over here, for instance, then you'll see that this was a key resistance to break past. We weren't able to break past that resistance, so we essentially retraced and crashed into a altcoin dominance correction, and then we were able to peak above here, but we weren't able to claim this resistance as a new support, which is ultimately what led to a dip, which was effectively bought back up by buyers in the altcoin market. But then we rallied to new highs just to turn this resistance into a new, or at least apologies, turned this old failed support into a new confirmed resistance, prompting yet another correction. So this resistance has really been pivotal in understanding continuation to the upside and continuing a macro altcoin bull market. Here we've been rejected before, here we've failed to claim this as a support, and here we've been rejected on a relief rally to begin the new bear market downtrend for altcoin dominance. So just to give you a perspective here, we are consolidating at highs, but this resistance, this really crucial resistance of 64%, roughly speaking, hasn't been tapped yet. And that's really important to understand, because while you could make a case for a potential pennant forming here, meaning that we would see some more upside in altcoin dominance and altcoins market wide, that upside from around 55%, depending on where that high or low forms, and if that high or low forms at all, around 54, 53, 52%, and then try to break out from this pennant, then this would be the tremendous resistance at 64, 63% to really watch out for. So a potential gain of 10% in altcoin dominance, that could translate into some really impressive rallies in the altcoin market as a whole. This is the major resistance to watch out for in terms of understanding, are we going to break past this resistance into a further continuation and potentially even new all-time highs for altcoin dominance, which would be spectacular. That would be a feat that we haven't been able to perform on altcoins since 2017, 2018. So that's going to be the major resistance to watch out for. At the moment, we're not there yet. We are instead at this resistance, and we have peaked beyond this resistance in the past. So the fact that we're not seeing some sort of V-shaped reversal like we saw here, or even a V-shaped reversal like we saw here, and to be honest, this was also a V-shaped reversal as well. Basically a upside down V forming, same thing here, to essentially deviate beyond this key resistance and then just reject to lower levels. In fact, we're not performing this sort of V-like formation. This is still quite positive. The fact that, of course, we might be a bit exhausted in this current trend, but we're not seeing any V-like, upside down V-like formations forming. We're not seeing that sort of typical topping out structure in the altcoin dominance right now. Apologies. So really interesting to see how we're just holding here at these highs, not printing any topping out structures. In fact, perhaps printing a bullish market structure, which would imply continuation. And once we do see that sort of pennant form and break out from there, it would be really key to just make ourselves up above this resistance and turn it into a support, something we haven't been able to do in the past before. Never really. We've only peaked beyond here and on these 3 occasions, and every time just pulling back to turn this area into a support. We haven't been able to do that, and that's actually preceded bear markets. So really important to understand that we are at a pivotal point for altcoin dominance, because we have pressed past these resistances beyond before, but we haven't been able to claim those same areas as support, and we've been pressing past these areas, this area of resistance before, but only to exact topping out structures, whereas now we might be forming a bullish continuation structure. Really important to watch out for this bullish pennant and how it continues to behave at this resistance, because this is the resistance to beat, and this is pretty much the resistance, the all-time resistance to watch out for. So these are the 2 key resistances to watch out for. And even though altcoin dominance might be a bit exhausted right now, it is printing some positive signs. I'm just going to be watching for a market structure here, and based on how this market structure develops, whether we see this lower high and higher low form, and if that's a flagging structure, that would imply that we're not going to see further downsides. So I wouldn't be de-risking just before that breakdown from this pennant. If we do see a breakdown from the pennant, that would imply further downside. But at the moment, no need to rush into cutting those altcoins prematurely, especially since they've crashed so much already to lows. We need to see if those lows can be sustained on altcoins, and if that translates into this bullish market structure forming and then resolving towards the upside beyond this key resistance. I hope you found this video useful. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future, and of course like the video if you enjoyed this content and would like to see more videos like this in the future as well. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm Rekt Capital and I'll speak to you in the next one. Speak to you soon.